electricity will the energy generation component of this facility create? Can you put that in a layperson's terms? Is it enough power to house for 100 houses, for City Hall, or for a stadium? And I want to know how much energy is being produced in terms of its real impact and its cost to the human health.
Okay, Mr. DT, you want to go back? Mr. Van Orten?
I think I answered earlier, we showed on the slide, after taking in the solid waste, SWA, and the sewer sludge, it produces 4 megawatts of power. That translates to about 4,000 homes if you look at that way.
And how many megawatts does that translate to?
What?
How many megawatts does that translate to? How many megawatts of energy would be produced?
4 megawatts.
And I also had one more question. You had stated earlier that you guys are a PA company, and I wanted to know, what does that make your Atlantic County facility? If you're only a PA company, don't you guys have a facility in Atlantic County? In New Jersey?
I can't understand your question. Say yes.
Earlier you had said that you guys are a PA company exclusively.
No, I didn't say we're PA. I said we're located in Pennsylvania, Trevose, Pennsylvania. Come and visit us.
All right, and I had one more question about the forms that are in Japanese in the company's overview. And I wanted to know if they would be translated, would they be provided to the public? The documents that are in Japanese.
There may be some documents, of course, because by one of our partners, one of our technology partners, he's from Japan. So some of the documents are in Japanese.
And I mean, the incinerators in America, shouldn't that be translated into, the incinerators in America, shouldn't that be translated to English?
I mean, if you want to give me the documents you want translated, I'll have them translated. No problem.
All of them. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Julie Thomas?
So I have one question and a comment. Well, two questions actually. I think you mentioned that you had gone to a lot of different cities to try to use this technology, and you mentioned a number I don't remember. And I'm wondering why haven't those other cities jumped on the bandwagon for this? And why is Allentown supposed to be the model project? And then if that does well, then everybody else can try it if it turns out to be safe? That's a question.
Allentown is first because when we first talked to the mayor of Allentown, Ed Pulaski, he wanted to be first. And so we made that commitment to him to be a center for new technology, a center for excellence, and to set the example on how waste should be handled properly without landfills or incinerators as we proposed. So, yes, we have 42 other opportunities in North America, that includes Canada and Mexico, and they are waiting because we're waiting to build this first, not because of any other reason. As you know, we have a test facility in Atlantic County, and we're pursuing that one next.
The other thing is...
Most of you know that Allentown followed a pretty strict request for proposals process and very in-depth, complex negotiation with outside consultants. Well, that's very likely the process that many cities and are following as well, and that takes time. So, to your point that cities are not jumping in, it's just that that's the process that most cities follow, most municipalities, and they're going through that process and having outside counsel and having outside consultants. So they see proposals, takes time. And so it's the same process.
Thank you. I'm not a scientist, so I have no idea if this is even an appropriate question. But if in fact somehow there was a dioxin leak or something went wrong, what is, and I know you said you get called in an hour, or you'll get a call in an hour, but what is the remediation time? Is there remediation? What does that look like when there's a leak of something that's not good? How long does it take to remediate that situation?
They would shut down their process if they're in violation, and then immediately notify the department and we come out and investigate.
And
When
what,
the control device goes down, I'm sure they have safety systems in place that will shut down the system.
so the system's shut down, but whatever has escaped from that system is out there, and that's it.
Right, you look at minimum amounts of this type of facility, what the minimums are very minimal. So if the system does go down for some, a few minutes, you're talking about minimal amounts of emissions.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say about that, but I want to say, actually just two other things that are kind of a comment. I run a youth program for an underserved population in Center City, Allentown, and I've spoken to many parents who have no idea about the incinerator, and I must say I'm very concerned about their concerns, and they don't get the newspaper, and they don't have computers, and the parents are very, very frightened. There's a very high level of asthma in this city, and you need to know that people are not really happy about this. So just want to go on record.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Alexandra Gordon. I am currently resident of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I would just like to reiterate that you said you would be willing to continually update your facility, and as a comment, I would like to point out that Harrisburg actually went bankrupt because of the insurmountable debts it owed to upgrade its incinerator, which had become too dirty to continue operating. A much better way to stimulate economic development in Allentown would be to implement a comprehensive zero waste plan. And for those people who are in here for this incinerator, for the 27 jobs that you put on your side would be available, composting and recycling programs actually would create 10 to 20 jobs for every one offered by an incinerator or landfill facility, and I'm sure you can do the math on that benefit. In addition, I would just like to know why, as Rena Holland was trying to point out before when you would refuse to go to the slide, why some of these toxins are not in your other slide that are in things that you would be continuously monitoring. All of these things, no matter what amount, are definitely not beneficial to human health, and none of these things are on that other list, and I'd like to know why they are not. That's a question for the TE.
Could you repeat the question?
I believe I was pretty clear, but yes, I will repeat myself. Why are these substances not on the other list, on your other slide that said of things that you would be continually monitoring? Sulfur, ash, nitrogen, arsenic, cadmium, mercury, nickel, all of these things are not in the other slide.
Okay.
Under the most recent EPA strict monitoring guidelines, which were published in the Mercury Neurotoxins Rule, very clean facilities, and that's what it's very cold. You go for continuous emission monitoring, you allow precisely what you're doing, which is periodic stack tests with continuous process monitoring. So in fact, our process monitoring to assure that those substances will not be emitted in levels of CD level. Because once you continuously emit, the EPA has found that when you continuously monitor your program with super clean facilities, which this would fall within the classification, the parameter monitoring is sufficient. And that's the latest rule that was passed, about 1,400 pages. You can read it last year.
Thank you.
So yes or no, will these substances be continuously monitored?
These will be continuous parameter monitoring. I told you that. Your question is
I didn't hear you correctly. What did you say?
Okay,
I answered your question.
okay, the question's been answered. Can you move on to a new question? Thank you.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
If I understand correctly, thermal decomposition takes out chlorine substances to minimize dioxin production, which is great. But since your permit allows for a certain amount of dioxin emissions, which we all know at any level is very harmful, obviously some chlorine substances still get through. Thus, how will you address that the processes designed to target heavy metals actually produce ideal conditions for dioxin formation? Would you like me to read that whole thing again? If I understand correctly, thermal decomposition takes out chlorine substances to minimize dioxin production. But since your permit allows for a certain amount of dioxin emissions, obviously some chlorine still gets through. Thus, this is the question part, how will you address that this process is designed to target heavy metals, also